So what do you do when you're in a divorce and custody battle and you want to see your kids? You want to see your kids really bad. You want to see them. You want to, oh man, like spend time with them. You spend time with them every day of your life. And now your ex is doing a bunch of retaliatory stuff. You're playing nice. You're playing by the book, but she won't stop being angry. When does this anger subside? What do you do? How do you handle it in the right way? And this is a tricky question because there's all sorts of variables. Nothing is easy. Nothing is not complex in these situations. And man, let's get to it. My name is Steve Maeda. I am a men's coach. I've been doing it for the last 15 years. I'm the founder of Austin Men's Development. And we're actually live on a presentation, a workshop that we're doing on the Austin Men's Development Board on divorce and custody, and workshopping men in the next 5 days over a lot of different things, whether that covers the legal, the mental part, the emotional side, mental illness, dealing with that on both sides, how to be a father, how to be a great man afterwards. Because the long story short is that a single dad can be an amazing, great life, but at the same time, it can turn into a life of depression and hitting walls and not feeling good about yourself in so many ways. And I just see it happen over and over again. So this is a tricky question. You know, we're in the midst of a separation. We may or may not get divorced. Of course, if you can save your marriage, please do so. I believe that's best for the kids, unless there's, you know, some really bad stuff happening, and that's always the excuse, and everybody jumps to that. But the mother of our kids is attacking us, and this is very common. It could just be gossip with our friends, but it could turn into a legal battle. And almost when it comes down to the courts and stuff, everybody hits below the belt. And you got to be able to handle that in the right way. So let's say she's making abuse claims, or saying you're a drug addict, or saying you're doing a bunch of illegal stuff. She's telling your daughter or son that you're a bad father. Your daughter or son is calling you names, or saying that you're a cheater or a bad dad, or, you know, you have mental problems and they're like 5 years old and they're saying these things or whatever. This is very, very common, and it's very sad. And the timeline for this is longer for any type of other resentment. So let's say, like, I'm the reason why somebody got fired for a job. They may hate me and so on, but that anger and the danger point of that anger is going to last, you know, a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, if I ignore that person and cut them out of my life. If you do that with your baby mama, it doesn't happen so quick. And there's some things that you have to talk about. You might have shared bank accounts. You might have, you know, you have custody, you have property, and all this stuff that has to be navigated through. The first thing that I'm going to say is all communication that you share with your ex, that can show up in court. Any text message you send, anything in writing. If you live in Texas or a couple other states, it's third-party recording, meaning like that only, or one part, I forget what, God, why can't I remember the name, but one party needs to know that it's being recorded, and then you can be recorded. So you got to be careful with any information that you output to somebody. Gossip with friends, this goes for all different things. And so you want to be able to be very, 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 very careful about how that information goes out. So that being said, when we get to these situations, you want all of your communication to just state the facts. Now, let me rephrase that, because when you're angry, because we're all angry, we were just talking about this, is that nobody is mentally healthy in this. We're all overstressed. We're all angry. We have the greatest fears of perhaps losing our kids. We are not in a good mental spot. And because of that, we need to do the things that really help somebody in that. One, before we get to all the self-care and taking baths and going on a vacation or whatever, we need to get a mental health team around us, whether that's therapy or psychology, or a group of friends, a support network. Very important. And I want to make the distinction of a mental health team is that it's not just friends and family that are yes men. It is friends who have your best interest and who aren't just going like, yeah, man, screw her, she sucks. But they're friends who are going like, okay, we've been here before. It's bad if you do this. And I don't care if you don't like hearing it, but we're looking out for your best interest and the best interest for you and your family. That's what you need. So that's also what she needs, and you can't guarantee that. She may not be doing it. It's very common that they're not. So that being said, when we move into this situation, man, let me tell you, we want to keep all our communication to the point. It's not about just facts, because a lot of times we use facts to support our anger, meaning like, it's a fact you cheated on me. It's a fact that you said this. No, our facts or the actual situation of like, I'm going to pick the kids up at 6. No, you can't, because last time they had bruises on them. Okay, so you're saying I cannot see my kids. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that she's trying to get you into a fight or whatever. These things are so easy to happen. We want to refrain from that. Okay. If we can't see our kids or whatever the situation is, if we can't come to some sort of agreement on the bank accounts, the kids, the money, the property, when to pick up the dogs, how we're going to talk about this without an argument, then I feel it's best to then default to a mediator. A mediator is somebody who's trained in this and is not going to get you in any more trouble legally if it goes forward in court. And they could make mistakes, but a mediator is a lot better than some friend who is totally not aware of any of this and they're just trying to help you guys out, and you guys get in a fight and then you do something wrong or you say something screwed up or you make a threat or any of these things. That is huge. Another thing that's key in this is that we bring up threats, like when emotions are high and we're talking to somebody and we're not coming to a resolve or we're not coming to an agreement, it's very easy for men to fall into or get trapped into some sort of threat. There's many women and there's many, female boards out there giving advice, and this isn't all women, but, men do stupid things in a time of divorce and get tons of bad advice, and women do too. And so a lot of times it's like, well, how can I get the smoking gun to take away custody or win in front of a judge? I can get a man to be violent, or I can say I feel that I'm being threatened for my life, or I don't feel comfortable, I don't feel safe. And we keep arguing beyond that point, and it's being recorded. Man, that is not a good place you want to be in. We don't want to be in a case where it's like, well, man, I hate you, you suck, but like, if you could just, like, I'm kind of low on pot and that'll help me, calm my anxiety. You go, okay, yeah, I'll give you some weed or whatever. That could be used against you in court. Like you don't want any of this stuff. So it's better to, if you're having disputes, get a mediator to help you. Now, if you're not having disputes and your divorce is new or your separation is new, this is a little bit separate than the actual question. You need to be really careful about what you say, because if she does get mad or you get mad and the fires start, it could get turned against you in all these different ways. So I then think there's a certain point in time, and this was true for me, where we decide only to go through lawyers and that all communication is through them. Now that gets expensive, but in the long run, it will be worth it if you are preventing damage or you are preventing, something that could come up in court, right? So, and if you have a bad lawyer, it'll be even worse. That's why you got to hire a good lawyer. Check out Divorce and Custody, the Survival Guide for Men, man. It's an MDX. It's like, this will help you with all of this. You do not want to pick a bad lawyer. You're going to pay for it later if you do. So there's all sorts of different things, but in this, it's very difficult. And this is where we get into the other conversation about what it means to be a great man. And a lot of people brush past this because, no, man, I know what it means to be a great man, or I just want help with the legal stuff. No, man, these things hold hands of you bettering your life and not overreacting in different ways and fixing the internal problems which may have caused this, as well as the internal problems that are going to repeat in your relationships if you don't fix them. You need to be around a support system that is actively working on this. And so when we get to this point of where resentment affects me, or the different perhaps message that her attacking you is sending you, exposing something in you, your greatest enemy is your best friend, because they point out all of your weaknesses and they point out the things that you need to fix. All the anger and frustration that's coming to your surface right now has a trail that goes deep within you of stuff that you need to sort out. And this is important for the therapy that you may or may not dive into, or the psychological work that you may or may not dive into. But if you do not fix those things, they tend to repeat. So these are great, great windows for you to look at. Also, the patience of biting your tongue, holding pen and tongue, and taking responsibility for this. That's extremely difficult to be able to, sort through. God, like being attacked on that level is crazy, especially when there's abuse and there's family members and you're like, what, I can't do anything. I'm not a man. Like, I'm less of a man. Like, Jesus, I got to fight. You know, I'm going to go like talk to the manosphere guys about how badass I can be. And that's a good way to do something stupid. The information might be right, but a good way to do something stupid in a legal battle or something where family members are involved. So we want to rock the boat as little as possible, and we want to do the right things. And the more that we work on ourselves, the more we stabilize this. This is one thing, again, when we get into the kind of meta discussion of this all, is that men don't realize you still have a family. You still have to be a family man. You did make a commitment for life if you were married, and those were the vows of your marriage and so on. So let's keep with that. And part of that commitment is that your relationship is screwed up. You're a little bit unstable and she's a little bit unstable right now, and your kids are paying for it and they're going to pay for it. How do you be the man to even that out? How do you do that in a way where things are going to get controlled and go back to normal and calm, which is also why you're watching this video. But that takes a lot of discipline and support and daily interaction with people on the right path of that to help guide you through it. It's really, really important. But the timeline for that is not short, man. If it happens in 6 months where she stops being angry and vindictive, I would be even cautious with that. So that's not a very good statistic to take with this whole thing, but I think that's an important thing. So hopefully this video is helpful. There's tons of resources down below. The Austin Men's Development Board is actually where this is live streaming and where it was originally recorded. So if you go there, you can find help that you need. It is a free board though, and most people, just to be honest, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, do not change from a free board. If you want to step something up, there's things like Men's Development Excellence. There's also like our Masculinity 101. These are paid courses where there are communities of men actively working on it, and you're literally going to be around 100 dudes who've been there and done that before that give you 24-hour support. I'm on probably 20 hours of calls a week, maybe 15, but something around that amount of group calls where we take men through it. And there's over 30 hours of available calls where you can work with guys and plug into on situations like this and get the help that you need. So we have a really established system to help you out. And definitely if you need the help, go there because it will work. And if you don't go with us, man, if you need psychological help, if you need therapy, find it. If you need legal help, find it. Like, do yourself a favor with that and live a better life, because living a life as a single dad can be awesome. It wasn't ideally what you planned, but it could be much, much better, much better. That's a great discussion to have on our groups. All right, so thanks for watching.